So we recently moved to Orange County, which has been really cool, but the thing that sucks the most about being in Orange County is the closest Chase Bank near us only has a drive-through teller, which is super annoying because I like to go up to the thing and like put my card in and like, you know, do all the adult stuff of like, you know, putting your information in and like, ooh, I got money, you know, I got money, you know. So we went to the drive-through to take out some money to pay for the rent in our new place, and I had to get out of the car and go on the other side of, you know, and put in my information, right? So I had to take out like $500 to pay my rent, and basically whenever you try to take out that much money, it asks for your billing address, right? Or your billing zip, right? So I've lived in so many places. I lived in Walnut, I lived in San Dimas, I lived in Long Beach, and now I live in Orange County, so I didn't really remember what my billing address was. So I put in the first one, Walnut, and that was denied. Now, as it was getting denied, there was a car that was driving up behind us. So I'm sitting out here, I'm a black girl in Orange County, I've got like a hoodie on, it's just looking very suspicious, I'm outside in, you know, trying to put in my information into the little teller, and so I put in another zip code, and it denies it, and I started feeling like very like, oh my goodness, people are going to be looking at me, I'm going to go get arrested, like there's not like a security cam looking at me as I'm doing all this information and things. And so anyway, so it just denies it, and my account like locked itself out, and I had to get back into the car. And as I was getting back into the car, my boyfriend had opened the door, and I got caught between the door and the teller. It was such a mess, and I got into the car, and it was like, well, I guess this is what it's like to be an adult.
So in 2003, my mom died, and it was right at the beginning of finals week for my junior year of high school. And this was unexpected. You know, obviously when your mom dies, when you're in high school, things are kind of dramatic. And I wasn't sure how to handle it. And so I went to school that week. And as I went to school, you know, we did the school stuff, and at the same time as I was doing finals, I created the soundtrack for the memorial service, and I wrote her eulogy, and I went with my brother and sister and my dad to the funeral home to help make preparations, you know, picking things like guest books and caskets. I'm 16 at the time, and this was a very strange experience for a 16, maybe a 17-year-old to go through. And I remember distinctly after the service, I gave my mom's eulogy, and I remember the general idea of what I was saying. The idea was, it is sad when people die, and it is okay to cry. It is very important to cry, but you can't let their lives be for nothing. You can't just stop at crying, you have to keep going. And after the service, you know, people came up to me and they were like, oh my God, Peter, when did you become this person that's in front of us? When did you grow up and become the kid who says these kinds of words? And that was a shock. Like, the entire experience of, you know, helping somebody move along was a huge shock to me. You know, I remember even afterwards, you know, my dad and I became close, even though we'd never been close while I was growing up. And I remember him talking to me about, you know, what happens when he dies. And these were things that I hadn't thought about. But then I realized after he started talking about them, and after this whole experience with my mom's funeral, that I was all grown up. And not only was I grown up, but other people recognized me as a grown up. And that is a crazy thing to think about.
I think the moment I realized I had to stop being a kid was my first semester of college, when I had gotten sick. It was time for me to call and make my first doctor's appointment by myself, and then go without my mom. So I didn't. I'll get better. It'll be fine. A week goes by. By this point, I'm coughing so much that my throat begins to bleed. I'm fine. It'll get better. And then I've been sick for a month. And then one day, 2 professors kick me out of class because I'm coughing so much they cannot teach. Call the doctor. I very clumsily make an appointment for the following week. The day before I'm supposed to go, I get better. Miraculously, I am healed. 8 hours before I'm supposed to go to the doctor. Well, okay, I guess I'll call now and cancel my appointment. No, I won't.
When I was younger, I used to be really, really impatient. I was just this fireball, just like going through the world, expecting it to just sort of like unfold in front of me in a way that was most convenient and accommodating to whatever I was trying to accomplish. You know, it worked for me for a while. Like, I was really young when I got my PhD, and I was able to accomplish a lot because of that. But it was actually really uncomfortable. Like, whenever it came to some kind of tedious task that had to get done, I was just like buzzing with this pensive energy. And then one day I was probably about 30, and I had to renew my driver's license at the DMV, and I was able to just be there in this incredibly boring place with no like stimulation or anything going on, and just wait in the queue and not be completely furious about it. Like, wow, I am here and it's just okay. Like, I'm not mad at anyone around me or in front of me or behind the counter. I have noticed that more in my 30s, is that I'm able to like chill out, basically. Such a more comfortable way to live my life, because it turns out there's a lot of those tedious tasks.
I wish I had a better story to tell you, because I realized I was grown when I was buying bananas. The fact that I was buying bananas instead of candy was the first hint, and the second was that I was buying green bananas. Green bananas. If you're a kid and you buy a banana, you buy a yellow one. You're thinking in the moment, you eat it there, and then you're done with it. And adults do one thing. They think and worry about the future. So me buying green bananas is me worrying about the future and the fact that I'm gonna need bananas all week long. And if I buy yellow bananas, then they're gonna turn brown. And I would rather lick a cat's asshole before I eat a brown banana. It's so nasty. Who buys green bananas? My mom buys green bananas. And now I buy green bananas? We're in the same boat. That is very unsettling. I don't want to be an adult. Yeah, let's not do this. It's not fun anymore. But I guess it's gotta happen. What can you do?
So sorry about the wait for this video. I had some computer problems, as you can see right here. These computer problems are still going. So I have a blog post about it in the description below, so please check that out. The open call is still going on. The deadline is Monday, February 9th. So if you haven't submitted anything and you want to submit things, please see the description below and it'll give you more details on the open call. It's time to go cry in a corner because my computer is still broken.